Support comes from Hughes Federal Credit Union, a local not-for-profit cooperative offering Diana Medeiros debit cards that generate support for the Tucson Wildlife Center. Details are at hughesfcu.org/MADARAS. Member NCUA.
Welcome to AZPM News Daily, a wrap-up of all the day's news from Arizona Public Media. I'm Steve Jess. And on this edition, Tucson travelers can expect slowdowns at the airport. The city drops a controversial rule to feed more people, and a new thrift store has a special mission.
It's not a far-fetched dream to have more people with disabilities employed.
Starting us off today, Tucson travelers can expect flights to be affected by a nationwide cutback in air travel amid the government shutdown. The federal government will begin phasing in a 10% reduction in flights as a result of a shortage of air traffic controllers. That starts on Friday. While Tucson is not on the list of the 40 busiest airports that are targeted for cutbacks, airport officials say Tucson will still be affected. Many flights in and out of Tucson involve airports such as Phoenix, San Diego, Denver, and Salt Lake City. All of those are on the list for affected airports. The Tucson City Council voted on Wednesday to allow distribution of food and beverages in city parks without a permit. The permit rule has been suspended as of September after opposition by mutual aid groups that use city parks as distribution sites. City Manager Tim Tomyer said distribution of home-cooked food is still regulated by Pima County, independently of city ordinances.
Folks who are wishing to do that type of effort would need to be in compliance with Pima County Health Department requirements and guidelines. So it doesn't exempt anybody from food, health, and safety. This is more about packaged foods and water distribution.
The American Civil Liberties Union claimed that mutual aid is a form of protected speech. Governor Katie Hobbs has applied for $1 billion in newly available federal aid for rural health care. Wednesday was the deadline for states to apply for the money from the Rural Health Transformation Program funds that were made available in the Republican tax and spending plan that passed this summer. The request Hobbs submitted includes increasing medical residencies at rural hospitals. Christian Slater is a spokesperson for the governor.
We know that it can be difficult to find practitioners in rural areas. So there are investments in the plan to address that particular issue.
Governor Hobbs says there will likely be an announcement on how much money the state gets by the end of the year. The new Arizona Independent Party is joining forces with a national group as both organizations try to create a viable third-party option appealing to moderate and centrist voters. On the heels of a failed effort to create an open primary system, former Phoenix Mayor Paul Johnson took over the No Labels Party in Arizona and rebranded it as the Arizona Independent Party in October. Now, Johnson is joining forces with the Forward Party, an organization launched 4 years ago by former New Jersey Governor Christine Todd Whitman and former Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang. Forward Party CEO Lindsey Drath says the partnership will give Arizona Independent Party candidates access to the Forward Party infrastructure, which has gained full or partial ballot access in 8 states. The mother of an Apache 16-year-old who's been missing since last month says her child's remains were discovered by tribal and federal police earlier this week. From Phoenix, Gabriel Pietrorazio reports on the latest case of violence involving a child in Indian country.
Chalistia Colaway, who went by Tia, disappeared in mid-October. No turquoise alert had been issued. But on Monday, authorities found human remains in Navajo County near the Knots Landing community in White River on the Fort Apache Reservation. Authorities asked for help in trying to identify the body by releasing physical and clothing descriptions. Soon after, Tia's biological mother confirmed on social media that her daughter was found. The investigation is being handled by the White Mountain Apache Police Department and BIA Fort Apache Agency. The Bureau of Indian Affairs Missing and Murdered Unit is also involved. Gabriel Pietrorazio, Phoenix.
Caregivers with Arizona autism say they were blindsided when the company announced it was laying off nearly 2,800 employees at the end of the year. Few details have emerged on the company's plans to transition impacted staff to contract workers and how that will affect services for Arizonans with developmental disabilities. Last week, Arizona Autism employees received an email with a link to a video of co-owner Riker Martin announcing the organization's restructuring plans. Part-time employee Kathy Humphrey said the video was short on details for employees being let go. She criticized the company's announcement via YouTube video and the lack of details about what comes next. Legendary actor William Shatner will be in Tucson next week as the featured guest for a screening of the 1982 movie Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan at the Fox Tucson Theater on November 12th. The 94-year-old Shatner originated the role of Captain Kirk in the first Star Trek television series in 1966, several years after arriving in Hollywood from his native Canada. He spoke with AZPM's Mark McLemore about his experiences over 7 decades in the performing arts.
They talk about Canadians being nicer and more polite, but in fact, most everybody I meet is nice, polite.
Shatner has been a recording artist, published author, and space traveler aboard one of Blue Origin's suborbital rockets. You can hear more of his conversation with Mark McLemore on Arizona Spotlight. Catch it on our website, news.azpm.org. A growing number of Arizona families are choosing cremation over burial of a loved one. According to a recent survey of funeral homes, over 90% of Arizonans will choose cremation by 2045. The report by the National Funeral Directors Association looked at several trends, including cremation versus burials. In Arizona, cremation rates continue to climb, putting the state among the top 3 in coming years. Reasons include the fact that families can be geographically separated, and religious practices have shifted. A new nonprofit store has opened on Prince Road in Tucson, and it has a special mission. Laura Holansky reports.
Hive Resale Store, created by Rebecca Lopez, aims to create employment opportunities for disabled people in Tucson in the short term and the long term. Community Engagement Coordinator Chrisanne Black says employees will socialize and gain work experience at the store.
The goal would be people coming in, gaining some really good knowledge, some hands-on skill, experience, making mistakes, learning from them, and then being able to go out into the community and get a job wherever, because it's not a far-fetched dream to have more people with disabilities employed.
Laura Holansky, AZPM News.
The Hive retail store is at 700 West Prince Road. That's on Prince west of Oracle in Tucson. And now you're caught up on the stories we've covered today at Arizona Public Media. Thanks for listening. Subscribe to AZPM News Daily wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Steve Jess, and we'll be back tomorrow.
Support comes from Hughes Federal Credit Union, a local not-for-profit offering debit cards by Tucson artist Diana Medeiros with designs that celebrate the Sonoran Desert. Details are at hughesfcu.org/MADARAS. Member NCUA.